Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For cables, connectors, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by the Ham Station. Get your new radio or antenna by calling 800-729-4373 or go to hamstation.com.
It's Ham Radio.
Hey, good evening, everyone. It's time for Ham Calls live in just a few minutes. Last week, the Ham Band was here to talk about their music and the OZ5E contest station. And if you missed the show, you can listen anytime at hamtalklive.com or on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play, TuneIn, SoundCloud, or on YouTube. And we encourage you to do that. They were really good. So get all your questions ready to go. After the introduction, you can give us a call. The phone number that you will call at that point is 812-NET-HAM1. That's 812-638-4261. Or you can Skype us. We're at Ham Talk Live. You can also tweet us a question, and our Twitter handle is at Ham Talk Live. So hope you'll join in and comment and question Dave about the Huntsville Hamfest coming up in just another few days. So I'll be back with Dave right after this word from the Ham Station right here on Ham Talk Live. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by the Ham Station. For over 37 years, the Ham Station has sold new and used radios, antennas, accessories, and equipment to hams everywhere. Give Dan or Jeff a call at 800-729-4373 or order online at hamstation.com. Ham Station carries all the major brands like ICOM, Yaesu, and Kenwood, and they have a wide selection of radio scanners, MFJ accessories, Heil sound products, amplifiers by Mirage and Ameritron, Cushcraft antennas, and more. Easy online ordering is at hamstation.com or call 1-800-729-4373 to place an order and talk it over with the experts. The Ham Station, proud to sponsor this episode of Ham Talk Live.
If Denny's is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, why are there locks on the doors? Now, here's Neil Rapp with more Ham Talk Live.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Hey, the Ham Station. Got Kenwood, ICOM, Yaesu, you name it, they've got it. New equipment, used equipment, give Dan or Jeff a call at 800-729-4373, or you can visit them online at hamstation.com. Tell them you heard it on Ham Talk Live. We're on the air every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at hamtalklive.com. And if you missed the show, why, we're on those podcasts, so you can catch us on your favorite podcast app. Dave Gibbons' K5RSI was first licensed as KN5RSI back in July 1958. He upgraded to conditional a year later with the call sign change to K5RSI. After earning a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering from Mississippi State in 1964, he briefly held the call sign W4PFK in Gadsden, Alabama from 1966 to 1969, and then went back to his current call K5RSI when he went to advanced class and finally extra in 1975. Dave has served as the flea market chairman of the Huntsville Hamfest for many years before relinquishing that responsibility to assist the chairman. And with the chairman becoming Silent Key, Dave has stepped in to be this year's chairman. So, Dave, welcome to Ham Talk Live.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Neil.
Yeah, well, it's hard to think about the Huntsville Hamfest without talking about the former chairman, Charlie Emerson, N4OKL, who was the chairman for the last several years and was on the show with us last year, and he became a Silent Key in January, and I had the honor of doing one of the stories bearing that sad news for Amateur Radio Newsline, along with Don Wilbanks, AE5DW, and so before we get started in the Hamfest, let's take a couple of minutes. Just tell me a little bit about what Charlie meant to you and to the Hamfest.
Well, Charlie was a unique person. He had the gift of gab like you wouldn't believe. And if you got to know him, you had a friend for life. He could really roll on the BS and just get people to feel good about themselves. And having a Hamfest, and especially during move in and move out, you know, tense situations always arise. And Charlie was the best I have ever seen in diffusing tense situations with just a few kind words. And he was just that sort of person. He loved the Huntsville Hamfest, although when he got started, he wasn't so sure. I'll tell you a little story about that. When he retired, he took a job down at the Civic Center, just kind of as a part-time to have a little play money. And he happened to be on duty the weekend. I guess it must have been back in around 2000 or 1999. He was on duty when we were having a Hamfest, and he became very interested in it and wanted to know what all was going on. And at that time, I'm not sure he actually had his license or not. I know he worked CB for quite a while before that. Anyway, our chairman noticed his interest, and he latched on to Charlie right away. And Charlie began helping us with the Hamfest. He assisted the chairman and learned the ropes as things went along. And then in 2009, the original chairman passed away. And so Charlie took it on his own, and he had it by himself. But by that time, he knew all the ropes. And just from his personality, he visited a lot of other Hamfests. He could talk to you about anything. I teased him a lot, saying that he could talk more than anybody I've ever heard, and not saying that. But that was the way he was, and everybody liked that. So he really helped the Hamfest, and he helped put us on a spurt of growth that we've grown to what we are today. Right now, the attendance runs between 5,000 and 6,000. Closer to 6,000 because I bought 6,000 buttons this year, and we don't expect to have any left over. But Charlie was one of a kind, and we're going to miss him. I just hope he guides us as we go on, and I know I'll think about him every day.
Well, I'm sure that a lot of the things that he put in place there at the Hamfest and in the Huntsville area will remain going for quite some time. And I always enjoyed talking to him, and being able to have him on this show and talk about what was coming up was always a fun thing to do. And so we're looking forward to this year's Hamfest. And so now that Charlie's gone, you've got a team working hard to make that legacy continue. So tell us about some of those changes that have taken place, and some of the new things that we'll be seeing this year at Huntsville.
Well, when Charlie passed, me and Art Davis realized that it was up to us to put the show on. See, Art and I started about the same time back in the early 80s. He always did the dealer show, and I always did the market. So that's what we're, like I told you earlier, it's been a trail of discovery for me to find out just what all had to be done, stuff that I not normally had been associated with. So I've been very busy. Art is still handling the dealers, and Art always did the dealer layout, or if for that matter, he did the whole show layout, the dealers and the flea market. So he's just continuing in that role. But we decided that Charlie was doing way too much stuff on his own, or not on his own, but by himself. And so what we've decided to do, we're trying to cultivate a new chairman. We got a guy on board who's very gung-ho. He's a lot younger than we are. And he just wants to put on a good Hamfest. And that's what everybody's goal was. And I think that's why we work so good together. But we're bringing him on board. We sent him to Dayton and to Orlando this year to be our spokesman. See, that's where a lot of people saw Charlie. He would always go down to Orlando and press the flesh with all the dealers and whoever he could talk to. And he did the same thing at Dayton. And the guy we're bringing on board witnessed all that, so he knows what the routine is, and he's wanting to get involved in it. So we're going to take him as his word. But we're also going to encourage him to spread some of the work out and not have one person doing all the mailing and the printing and the finances and the dealers, and stuff like that. And so we're going to spread that out and hopefully make it a little bit easier. See, I'm not getting any older, and that's the reason I turned the flea market over to a younger person. I really did it to give Charlie a hand because at that time he was having some back problems, and I was afraid he was going to wind up in a wheelchair. So by 2016, I had handed the flea market off to another fellow, and I helped Charlie last year. Lo and behold, I didn't know it was going to end this way. But we're going to have a Hamfest. We don't plan on changing anything. We're trying very, very hard to keep everything the same. We don't want to surprise people. When you make major changes, it's when people see that and they're always used to it being one way, then they say, oh, something's changed. Maybe they're going downhill, and word will spread like wildfire, and we don't want that to happen.
It will. It will. Whether it's true or not.
Right. So we plan on keeping everything the same, and any changes will be behind the scenes that the public won't see. Although we may make some improvements that the public will see, and we're looking for that too. We've got plenty of space in that Civic Center to expand. We could almost double the size of the Hamfest. The only thing we're fighting now is rising costs. Everything's going up. And there's been more demand on the Civic Center for more and more conventions. And we've been fighting off groups anywhere from these civil groups all the way from the the Army. The Army's a big presence in this town, and whenever they want something, they pretty well get it.
Yeah.
Up until this year, there's always been a missile and space defense program down there, and they were moving out on Friday while we were trying to move in on Friday, and they were using the same space that we were moving into, so you can imagine the conflict and the congestion. But this year they're not doing it. This year they've already had their program, and I hope they choose that weekend or that time rather than the weekend or the week right before our Hamfest. So we're looking for a big year, and we just hope that this coming eclipse is not going to hurt us too bad. I know the forum chairman said that some of the big forum presenters are not coming this year because of their involvement with the solar eclipse. And of course, they're going to have totality right up here in Nashville, which is only 90 miles away. And so a lot of them are not coming to our fest this year, I guess, to get ready for that.
Yeah, Eclipse Mania is definitely hit, and but that's not until Monday, so we've got time to get to the Hamfest and get home and then partake in the Eclipse and maybe even the QSO party after the Hamfest is over. So plenty of opportunities there, and yeah, I hope the scheduling at the Von Braun Center is better with that other group moving. And the Von Braun Center is something that's very unique. And we were talking before the show that, I used to run a small Hamfest down in Evansville, Indiana, that had about 500 people. And, the facility was always the issue, was trying to find a facility that was affordable but yet big enough and had enough access, and everything at Huntsville just works so smoothly in the Von Braun Center because you've got the parking right underneath, you've got plenty of room, plenty of facilities, it's well maintained. And like you said, there's room for growth, and that's something that a lot of Hamfests don't have, is they don't have room for growth given what they can afford. And I've just been always so impressed with the Von Braun Center and how that really makes a good Hamfest.
Well, let me tell you a funny story about the Von Braun Center, Neil. That place has bukus of floor space, and they can have like 4 or 5 major events and on the same day. But a few years ago, we were sitting down with the events chairman and planning the Hamfest and talking about this, that, and the other. And of course, we were discussing cost. And the event coordinator said, "Well, let me tell you something." Says Boeing has a big contingency of folks here. They do work out on the arsenal for the Army and for the NASA. And the event coordinator at the BBC said that Boeing wanted to put on some military hardware show, and that they had sent their event coordinator from Seattle down to Huntsville to make plans and talk with the Civic Center and make plans for the show and to see what the Civic Center here could provide and so forth and so on. And the BBC coordinator said that they got down to security. And the Boeing guy asked how much for an armed security guard. And the BBC guy said, "Well, it'll be this much." And the Boeing guy asked him, "That much for one guard?" He said, "Yes." And the Boeing guy said, well, in that case, I'll have 40. And the BBC event coordinator said, I got the idea right then that we weren't charging enough. And, Boeing, being a big company like they are, they had fixed budgets for these kinds of shows. And that guy had to spend the budget, or otherwise next year he may not have enough. So he signed up for 40 security guards. That must have been one every 10 feet.
Yeah.
But see, that's the problem. The Civic Center has gotten the idea now that, their space is worth more. Of course, Huntsville is growing like crazy. There's metropolitan area now, there's close to 500,000 people. And we've got all these aerospace and all these military companies down here, and it's getting to the point where just about every weekend and even during the week, there's some event going on down there. So we're having to compete with that. We've hung on to our weekend. It's always the third full weekend in August, and it's been that ever since day one. And so far, we've been able to hang on to that weekend. It's our opinion that to have a good Hamfest, you have to have a good date, that you don't compete with a lot of stuff, and you have to have a good space to do it in. When I was doing the flea market, I would get a lot of calls from people saying, well, y'all don't have any boneyard. I said, no, it's all inside and air-conditioned comfort. You drive in and unload, and then when it's over, you drive in and load out. He said, well, but y'all ought to have some outside boneyard. I asked him, I said, well, have you ever been to Alabama in August? And a lot of those people said, well, no, I haven't.
And so now you know why it's all inside.
So when they get out here, they appreciate the air-conditioned comfort that the whole show is in.
Yeah, it's a really great facility, and being able to just walk across the walkway over to the hotel and then a couple other hotels nearby, just a real nice way to go to a Hamfest, and you can easily stash your stuff in the hotel room and run back and get more. And I've always really enjoyed that. That's something that I don't know of any other Hamfest that has that kind of close accessibility to lodging, and it really is like you said. You got to have a good date where you're not competing with other places. You got to have a good space, and you've got both of those, and so that's the reason I think that it's worked, as well as some really hardworking volunteers and friendly faces down there that help put it on. Well, we're going to take some calls here in a little bit, but one other thing we want to talk about here are the forums. You mentioned that some of the familiar faces may not be available this year with all the Eclipse stuff going on, but in looking at your list of forums, you've still got a pretty impressive list of forum opportunities there to participate in, and you've still got some pretty good names coming in. So tell us a little bit about the forums here before we take a break.
Well, since I don't work the forums, Tom Duncan is the one who's been doing that. Now, I really can't speak too much to the forum content, and I'm basically going to have to read them off the website as we have them posted. I know that the list is posted on our website at hamfest.org. And because of this eclipse, some of the big forum presenters are not going to be here. So that's going to cut our forum down to Saturday only. But you're right, there are some big names here that give forums. One of the forum presenters I know personally, he's a local guy. It's Dr. Monty Bateman. He's also a ham, and I have lunch with him just about every Tuesday. he's a climate scientist that works in conjunction with the University of Alabama in Huntsville. And he works closely with Dr. Christie, whose name you've probably heard of before. He's been quoted a lot in the national media about global warming and that sort of thing. But Dr. Bateman he always gives a good program on grounding. And he's going to be there again this year to do the same thing. Some of the other ones here, well, you can take a look at the listing here. And, lightning protection for radio amateurs by Dr. Monty Bateman. That form is always a hit. It's standing room only. And then he's also going to give a forum about lightning research out of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. And those are all good forums. There's going to be some D-Star, and then AMSAT forum. And I see one here, amateur radio balloon goes around the world. That ought to be interesting. But yeah, we pride ourselves in having a good forum session. And a lot of people come just for that. And we try to grow that as much as we can. Unfortunately, the totality put a little crimp in our get along this year, but we'll be back strong as ever next year.
Well, still plenty of good opportunities there, and look forward to seeing some of those. So, well, we're going to open up the phone lines here in just a moment, and I see we've got one trying already here. So we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we'll open up the lines and see if we've got some people that want to talk Huntsville Hamfest here tonight. But first, let's listen to this message from one of the vendors that will be at the Huntsville Hamfest. It's Tower Electronics, right here on Ham Talk Live. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you in part by Tower Electronics. Tower Electronics has been the Ham's dime store since 1978. When you need connectors, mobile and handheld antennas, cables, or adapters, visit Scott or Jill at a Hamfest near you. Or you can order online at pl-259.com or call 920-435-2973. Stock up on those supplies like PL259 and end connectors, SMA adapters, audio cables, soldering supplies, mobile antennas, and ham sticks. Their silver-plated end connectors are even used on the International Space Station. Tower Electronics carries MFJ, Comet, Daiwa, OPEC, Workman, and Ham Pro products. And don't miss their 0% off sale going on now. Tower Electronics, online at pl-259.com, proud to sponsor this episode of Ham Talk Live.
The only thing I have on is Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
Join the conversation. Call us on voice with Skype at Ham Talk Live or give us a call at 812-NET-HAM1. That's 812-638-4261. Now, here's more Ham Talk Live.
Thanks once again to Scott and Jill at Tower Electronics for sponsoring the show tonight to help bring you Ham Talk Live. Well, they'll be in Huntington, West Virginia on Saturday, and then they'll be at Huntsville. It's August 19th and 20th, and then in Shelby, North Carolina, September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And if you're not at any of those, you can call them at 920-435-2973 or visit them online at pl-259.com and tell them you heard it on Ham Talk Live. Looking forward to seeing Scott and Jill here down in Huntsville soon. So it's time for your calls now. So if you have a question for Dave, give us a call. That number to call is 812-638-4261. 812, and that spells out NET-HAM1. Or you can Skype us. Our Skype name is Ham Talk Live, or you can tweet us at Ham Talk Live as well. And we do have a phone call. So welcome to Ham Talk Live. Who is this?
Hi, this is Mark Brown, N4BCD, also with the Huntsville Hamfest.
Oh, hi, Mark. Thanks for calling in, and believe you've got a little bit to comment on here with some of the forums and some of the stuff. So tell us a little more about Huntsville.
Yeah, Neil, thanks for taking my call. Like Dave said, it's a great collection of forums, and it's a varied collection of forums. Not just technical, but there's no one right way to do this hobby. There's VHF, there's HF, there's balloon launches. We've got a program on balloon launches. WB8ELK, Bill Brown, relation. He's been published in QST. He'll be doing a forum Saturday afternoon. There's forums on D-Star, the Yaesu system, portable operation, and of course the ARRL does their forums on the section level, and I think next year it'll be division level. But the forums are a great collection of stuff. And want to mention too, the DX banquet that's Saturday night. We're having Bob Alphin over from Georgia. He'll be talking about the challenges of Bouvet Island. But that banquet for the first time ever is sold out this year. So a lot of interest in his talk. We're very excited about the weekend, and hope you can join us at the Huntsville Hamfest. Thanks, Neil.
Yeah, thanks, Mark, for calling in. And I didn't realize Bob was coming, so that'll be good. And Bouvet's getting ramped up here. That's going to happen before you know it, and lots of news coming from that team. So that'll be a great thing on Saturday evening. So thanks for calling in, Mark. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you here in about a week.
See you in about a week. Bye-bye.
All right, and we have another call, and it is the man himself. Good evening, Mr. Scott Cole.
How you doing, Neil? And special greetings to Dave. Glad to hear you on tonight. Hope you guys are doing all right and getting all rested up for the calm before the storm, so to speak.
Yeah, hi, Scott. Good to hear you.
I just wanted to say that we don't have any inhibitions about saying you're going to be able to fill the shoes of the chairman, because the person that previously ran this learned from the best, and you were great and instrumental in helping them, and I have no doubt things are going to go well this year. And I just wanted to, I always wanted to ask, and now that I got you on the air, this is a good time. You guys have like a super pep rally or something for all the helpers, that they're in such a good mood when we get there? Because it's the only thing that the guy that's standing outside in the sun all day directing traffic is just as happy and jolly at the beginning of the day as he is at the end of the day.
Yeah, we're very lucky, Scott, and we picked a good group. We drill into them that always smile, never a crossword, help anybody with anything they can. And we tell our guests that we're here to have you, make sure you have a good time. If you do have a good time, tell all your friends. But if you have a problem, tell us, and we'll try to straighten it out.
I congratulate you, because you guys have always done just that. You've always put on a real high-quality show, without a doubt, one of the best in the country that I've ever been to. And my hat's off to you guys and your entire staff. Everybody's got a great disposition. Everybody's there to help, and everybody has a good time, and you got things well planned, and it's always a great time when we're up there for that show, even though we're working our butts off all weekend long. But I just wanted to say we've got your backside, and things will go well, and we appreciate everything that you're doing, and thanks for everything that you guys are doing.
Well, I think, Scott, we appreciate those words. We look to have a good prize lineup this year. We work with the embassy next door to set aside a block of room that get a special Hamfest rate, and that block was sold out by May the 1st this year.
Wow.
And we've constantly been having to get them to add some more rooms to our block. So I don't know how many we'll eventually fill up. But you're talking about the situation with the embassy suite. right next door to the Civic Center. And we've had more than one of our dealers tell us that they really like the situation, because the day of the Hamfest, they get up, get their clothes on, walk downstairs to the Hamfest. You don't have to fool with a car. You don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to worry about driving anywhere. And a lot of those dealers really like that. And I'm sure some of the flea market folks do that very well also. They're planning an expansion to our Civic Center. And we don't know how that's going to impact us, but we hope that it will expand our capability even more. The Huntsville Hamfest organization is kind of unique. I think we'll set ourselves up very much like Dayton and very much like Orlando, although I'm not sure about Orlando. But the Huntsville Hamfest Association is separate from the Huntsville Amateur Radio Club. Now, a lot of us associated with the Hamfest are members of the Huntsville Amateur Radio Club, and we depend very heavily on them to supply volunteers. And but we are separate. We are separate organizations, and I think that was the wisdom of our forefather who dreamed up this Hamfest and having it at the Civic Center, to keep them separate so that we're not affected by club politics and how stuff like that goes. And we can always pretty much do what we want to do, but now we take a lot of input and suggestions from the Ham Club, and they help us tremendously. And any profits that we make over and above our seed money for next year, we hand it out to the clubs and repeater associations, since we use their repeater for talk-in, and try to keep everybody interested.
Well, Scott, thanks for calling in, and save me some reverse polarity SMAs. I'm going to have to grab some from you. So
I'll make sure that I got some for you, Neil. Take care. And one other comment for Dave. I think that's really cool how you managed to muscle out the Defense Department show this year. So hopefully went in your way. Congratulations on that. We'll see you later.
Well, we certainly hope they're gone for good. I hope they chose it. They had it this week, and I hope they'll continue to do that in the future, so we won't be butting heads with them trying to move in when they're moving out.
Very good. I'll say 7-3, Neil and Dave, take care. We'll see you both in another week or so. Take care. 7-3.
Okay. All right, Scott, take care. We'll see you soon. 812-NET-HAM1 is the phone number. We have time for one more call here this evening, 812-638-4261. If you'd like to call in and talk about the Huntsville Hamfest coming up. And one of the things that'll be happening that I'll be involved with, at least taking some pictures, is the Young Ham of the Year Award presentation taking place on Saturday afternoon, and our friend Marty, KC1CWF, is receiving that. So looking forward to that as well. And I know the youth lounge down there is just fabulous. Some of my former students have built stuff in there, and just a very welcoming thing, and prizes and kits and all kinds of stuff. So all kinds of activities for the youth there at Huntsville as well. So hopefully people will hear this, and if you get a chance to run down to Huntsville, it's a great opportunity. 812-638-4261 is the phone number. And Dave, did you want to comment on any of the youth stuff going on?
Yeah, Dr. Monty Bateman, the one I mentioned earlier about giving forums, he's the one that sponsors that youth lounge. He's big into Boy Scouts, and he's very involved with his children in robotics. And he's done a great job with that youth lounge, and it just grows every year. And I'm afraid he's going to outgrow his space. But, that's okay, because we'd like for him to do that. We'd like to increase the young hams' participation, and maybe we can get them interested in amateur radio as things go on. But Monty does a great job with that, and we're trying to push it every chance we get.
Yeah,
I know
it's a great opportunity.
I know the students that come just have a blast.
Yeah. I remember one of the young ladies in my group. That's where she learned how to solder. Is down there in the youth lounge, and just all kinds of opportunities there. So and all kinds of space for the forums and the youth lounge and the flea market and the vendors all under one big roof, and it's just a very enjoyable time. It's not the size of Dayton or Orlando, but it is the world's friendliest Hamfest. I can certainly testify to that, and it is a good-sized Hamfest and plenty of opportunities there. So one of my favorites, and so looking forward to getting back down there to Huntsville once again. Okay, let's throw that phone number out one last time, 812-638-4261. Just have a couple of minutes left, so if you want to jump in here, now is the time to do that, 812-NET-HAM1. Now, Dave, I remember Charlie telling me that you've got a special group there that is kind of the welcoming committee out there selling tickets and taking tickets. So tell us a little bit about the friendly folks that help make all this happen, and including them.
Yes, we have a group of ladies that are also hams, and they have formed their organization called the Haylarks, and it stands for something like Huntsville Amateur Young Ladies, something like that. And they are the ones that man the booths out front to sell the prize tickets. And we could not do it without them. I was meeting with them this afternoon, this morning, when I carried them the tickets and the buttons. And the lady that's heading that up, she is about 94 years old, and she's been doing it a long time.
Wow.
She did say this morning that this may be her last year, because getting up in age, it's just hard to get out of the bed sometimes. So she's been grooming younger ladies to take that function over, but this lady will take those tickets and she will count every one of them. And I carried her 22,000 tickets this morning, and she will count every one of those to make sure that they're all there. And she can tell us by the hour what the admission sales are doing and how much we did at the end of the day and then at the end of the Hamfest. So she's been a great asset. Those ladies have helped us tremendously, and they always promote the show. And they always have a kind word for the people who come up and buy admission and buy tickets. And I just don't think we could do it without them.
Well, that's where we're going to leave things, Dave. But, yeah, they are very friendly and very helpful, and they're great representatives of the Hamfest. And, again, hamfest.org is the address. Very easy one to find, so check that out, and hope to see you down in Huntsville next week. So that is a wrap for this week's Ham Talk Live. Thanks again to my guest, Dave Givens, K5 RSI, and everybody out there in cyberspace for listening and calling in. And next Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, Ken Olkey, VE6AFO from the Quarter Century Wireless Association, will be here to talk about that group, so we look forward to hearing from Ken next week. So for a list of all of our upcoming guests, just go to hamtalklive.com and click on the schedule link. So for now, this is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, saying 7375, and may the good DX be yours.